Well, let's go to part of Julia Gillard's speech now on the opening day, and then it falls to you people to interpret it. Here it is.
Friends, this is the Labor way. This is the Australian way. We follow it simply because we are us.
OK, what's the charitable interpretation?
Defeating the previous supposition that toys were us.
Exactly. This is going to be the toys are us.
Spelt with a high, inverted
I don't know what she was attempting to say there. I mean, I literally thought it was a slip of the tongue, and I checked the speech, and there it is. And we all wanted to get her to autograph the speech just on that passage. I don't know what she thought that would mean to anybody. I don't think it means anything.
What did you make of the speech overall, though? Annabelle?
Annabelle liked it.
Well, I thought there was a kind of a strolling element to it that I thought she pulled off okay, talking about the experiences of Australians that she had met. I thought it borrowed a bit from the sort of Obama playbook of, and meanwhile in Atlanta an old woman presses a button, this sort of thing. But I thought, on the whole, it kind of missed a whole bunch of opportunities. Because, I mean, one of the advantages of having had a rubbish year and kind of got some difficult things done, more, I suspect, than anybody expected her to get done. One of the advantages at the end of such a year, when you gather with your own people, I think, is to sort of go a bit, you can't accuse me of not doing hard things because I've done hard things. And, she would have got a bit of a round of applause for that. And I think it was also an opportunity to be a bit gracious to Kevin Rudd, which, I think the opposite of which occurred. And I think that was a bit of a bad look too. So I think there was an opportunity to marshal support, to kind of just get a bit of a pat on the back, and it didn't really happen.
The speech was written with the intention of telling the government's story from the government's point of view, because one of the problems for Julia Gillard is we hear about the government largely from the opposition's point of view, and that is, the succession of failures, even though they weren't failures. The BER was one of the greatest economic stimulus programs in Australia's history. And it worked and is working brilliantly. But the opposition tells the story and it's a complete catastrophe. Julia Gillard set out to try and tell a different version of the government's story. Yeah. But it was a bit... It was so lame that story didn't come through.
But she didn't... she resisted the temptation to bang on about Tony Abbott. And I think that's what a lot of people were advising her very carefully to avoid, because that's not what was required.
Again, it's this sort of Gillard equation where there seems to be something kind of missing, and nobody really seems to know what it is. I mean, it's not like she's become a different person, but there is some sort of barrier that kind of kicks in when she's speaking in public or on TV, and people so commonly say of her, oh, she's very patronising, which I think is kind of about the last thing she actually is. I mean, it's a very funny...
I think she has a problem working out what's in people's heads. She knows the policy, she knows the workings of government, she's a sensational negotiator, she's a great political technician. But I don't actually think she really knows what's in people's heads. And great speech makers pluck things out of people's heads.
I agree with that.
Yeah.